She was a young child living in Frankfurt, Germany, when the Nazis came to power.
Because of my background as a German Jewish refugee, I had a sensitivity for the people who were regarded as subhuman.
Ladies and gentlemen, she's back on the show again. Last time she came on the show, the famous rapper E40 was here.
Yes.
And E40 was shooting his music video.
Yes.
And he asked Dr. Ruth if she would make an appearance in this music video.
Yes.
And she sat here and performed his music video with us. She's here. She's known as Dr. Ruth. She's an author. She's a sex therapist. She's a leader. She's a hero. She's a survivor. And she's a citizen of Sway in the Morning. The one and only Dr. Ruth is back, ladies and gentlemen.
Keep on going.
Keep going on. Okay.
She's a sniper.
She's a media,
all of you.
Okay, a media personality. She's done it all. And she's back on the show. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Ruth.
Thank you.
We're here to talk about Ask Dr. Ruth, which is a documentary that's in theaters May 3rd on Hulu and on June 1st as well. And in this documentary, we get to find out what's behind the curtain, what made you the person that you are today. And we hear you tell a lot of great stories about your past, right. A lot of powerful stories that I read about but never really heard you talk about, you know. And one of the things you talk about is your sexual escapades when normally you wouldn't talk about what you did behind.
I only mentioned a little bit of that. Never mind. Don't call it sexual
escapades.
Call it wonderful love affairs.
Okay.
Which right away I legalized.
Uh-huh.
That's why I was married 3 times, but the real marriage was with Fred Westheimer, who I met here skiing, and who was also from Germany. But he was lucky because he and his parents went to Portugal, and then the parents sent him to the States. And that was a marriage of almost 30-some years.
30-something years.
Right. So that was the real marriage.
That was the real marriage.
Right.
What were the other ones?
The other ones was legalized love affairs.
Legalized. Now, Fred, actually, when you met him, you said it was love at first sight. Did you believe it was love at first sight with him?
Absolutely. First of all, he was short. Not as short as me.
Okay.
Nobody's as short as me. But he was from the same background. German Jewish. He had never been married. And at the dinner, somebody told him that I was married already twice. So I thought, oh my gosh, that's the end of this one. Because I had decided skiing that I'm going to marry him. He had never been married. He was 35. He was Jewish. He was an engineer. And he was ideal for me. Then we went skiing. And I went to the room that I shared with a woman, and I can tell you her name, just to you. Her name was Vera. She's not alive anymore. And she said, keep your hands off, he's mine.
Oh.
And I said, let's see. Within a year, I was married with him.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You like that?
That's awesome.
You like that over there.
That was awesome. Yeah.
How'd you
Dr.
lock
Ruth.
him in?
That's sex education.
How'd you lock him in? Did you say something?
No,
Did you
somebody
wear
said
something?
about me, Fred Behrendt wrote a book. It's also a German Jewish refugee. He wrote a book and he said that I reeled him in like a skilled fisherman.
Angler. I knew you was an angler.
First I thought, oh, what a description. Now I like it.
Okay.
So Fred passed away. It's already almost 20 years.
20 years.
But I do have 2 wonderful children, Miriam and Joel. I have a wonderful son-in-law, also named Joel. I have a wonderful daughter-in-law, Barbara. And listen carefully. You are all young people, but I have to shout on your radio station that Hitler is dead, and I have the best 4 grandchildren in the world, and I'm alive.
Yeah, and you're alive. You're alive, and it's you know, it's interesting because here in the United States, a lot of people try to dismiss what black folks went through, what Africans went through when it comes to slavery. They want to sweep it under the rug and pretend like it never happened. Also, I hear people who try to deny that the Holocaust
So
ever happened.
I have to tell you what you have an obligation.
Okay.
You and your whole crew.
Mm-hmm.
You have an obligation like what I'm doing. Standing up and saying to those people who deny the Holocaust, standing up and saying, you are wrong. There was a Holocaust. I'm a proof of that.
Mm-hmm.
And those people who say, don't even talk about it anymore because it's so long ago. It's like the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Holocaust fatigue. And I say, not so, because we have to learn from the past. And you have an obligation to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say, this is what happened. And especially in today's world,
Yeah.
you have to say, to stand up together with me,
Mm-hmm.
to say that should never happen again.
That should never happen again.
Now, at the Museum of Jewish Heritage in New York, there is a brand new exhibit about Auschwitz, about that terrible concentration camp where my parents were killed. I don't know what happened to my mother, but I know that my father had a date when he was killed. That exhibit opens on May 10,
Mm-hmm.
and you and I will go there together.
Mm-hmm.
And the exhibit is called Auschwitz, Not Long Ago, Not Far Away. And that is exactly what you were saying before,
Yeah.
that we do have to say there were terrible things that happened to black people.
Yeah.
And we have to stand up to be counted so that this will not happen again. So we are all, any minority or anybody is in that same boat. And in this great country of ours, in the United States, we just can't let it happen, those things that have happened.
Absolutely, Dr. Ruth. We're learning in the United States. We I know in Germany they have a I don't know. I know I'm not going to say this correctly, but the Volksverhetzung law that prohibits people from inciting the people in public, and then also they got rid of all the Nazi and Hitler imagery in Germany. Only in the museums you see it.
Right.
Where here in the United States, there's a lot of praise of people who incited. Go ahead.
Except there's a brand new museum in Washington
Uh-huh.
that tells the story of slavery.
Uh-huh.
And like I'm telling people come in New York to the Museum of Jewish, resistance, see the exhibit of Auschwitz. All of you have to go to Washington to see the exhibit and to see that brand new museum of African culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So now let's talk about sex.
Okay, let's talk about
Enough
sex. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I now know how old you were when you lost your virginity, and and it was on a haystack. Am I mistaken?
I knew that he would pick that up from the documentary. So I knew that, but that was a love affair.
Okay.
But he didn't want to make it last into a relationship.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I'm telling you, young people, this summer a book is coming out, Sex for Dummies, with new entries. And Pierre Lehu is doing it with me, new entries for the millennials. So that you people have to learn that it's important to have a relationship. You people have to learn the art of conversation so that you don't sit on your phone. And there are many other nice things in that book. When the book is out, I'm coming back on your show.
Come on, Dr. Ruth. Let's talk it. And I'm so flattered you still see me as a millennial. Thank you for that. I'll take that one right there. All right. We're going to open up the phone lines. But anybody have a question for Dr. Ruth? Tracy?
You can
Because
all
I could
say,
keep going.
Yeah.
You can all say, a friend of mine has a question. You never have to say I. I see him nodding his head.
Okay. All right.
Well, I was going to ask Dr. Ruth, what advice do you have for a couple that's moving in for the first time? Because that's what's happening in my world soon.
Okay, first of all, moving in for the first time means that this is already a step into a relationship. Now, before you even move in, make sure you decide who is going to do the dishes.
Oh, he's doing them.
He's doing them?
Yeah, he
You are lucky.
finds it therapeutic. Yeah.
You are lucky. So then you decide who is going to wash the floor, who is going to make the beds. But most important for you young people, you have to make time for sex.
Yes.
I hear from young people that they don't have time. That's nonsense. People in the olden days, the immigrants that came, for example, to New York in the needle, in the garment industry, they worked many more hours than any of you young people. So don't give me that no time. Make sure that you do have time for arousal, for talking to each other, and for knowing how to please each other to orgasm. On your program, I can talk like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sex therapist. I'm very well trained.
Yes.
So moving in, first of all, you. Don't wait for him to bring flowers. You buy the flowers and you bring them in.
Yes.
He will learn very fast that that's what you like. He will then bring flowers. Don't sit there and tell me afterwards, we moved in and he didn't have champagne and he didn't have flowers. You get it.
Right.
Okay. You give her the money
Okay.
and she will go and get champagne and flowers.
Yes.
And then one more thing before you do have sex.
Please, yeah.
You read one of my books.
Got it.
There you go. How much sex do you think is healthy to have? Twice,
Yes.
3 times a week, or?
I can't tell you
Okay.
because it depends.
All right.
Some people, some young people would like to have it every day. Some older people, that's not realistic. I see his face over there.
It's not realistic.
Not realistic. However, here is a lesson to be taught. First of all, make sure that you have the time for her arousal, because it takes longer for many women to get sexually aroused. And then make sure that you have the time for afterplay. Because if you caress the woman that you're with after sex, that's already the foreplay for the next time of sex.
Very
Ooh.
true.
Oh, is that how that works?
Game.
All right.
I usually go to the bathroom. I should be hugged, so I gotta
Fall asleep.
I gotta, you know what I mean? I gotta cuddle. Okay, all right.
You have to cuddle, you have to
Okay.
hold her, you have to caress her.
Gets hot though.
True. And that already sets the stage, even if the next sexual experience is a week later. True.
Okay,
Right?
DB.
Yes.
I was just
Okay.
like laying in the wet spot afterwards. Just
That's
kind of
your-
like,
yeah.
just cuddling that? Nah, we can put a towel down or something.
Yeah, we gotta. Well, no, Dr. Ruth said we must cuddle.
All
Therefore,
right,
we
all right.
must cuddle.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor-
No excuses.
Okay, Dr. Ruth, I've been single for a long time, you know what I mean? And I'm also a bit of an introvert. I like staying home. I don't like to really go out and socialize. Is it healthy to be single for, a long time, or should you absolutely just get out and start meeting people because that's what we're all meant to do at some point?
Look, if some people say they want to have time to read a book, which is not likely for your age. However, maybe a graphic novel which is made for children, you read it fast.
Okay.
Then you can have some quiet time. But I believe that people have to be out. I'm not saying every night, but let's say in your case, at least once a week, to be out, to be social, and to give your attention to somebody else. Never mind what it does for you only, but that you give your attention to somebody else. Out of that will grow, hopefully, a relationship. And I want everybody to have a relationship. Gay people, older people, I want them to be sexually knowledgeable, to know what needs to be done. For example, older people, I'm looking at him all the time.
Yeah.
Older people have to know not to have sex in the at night.
Why not?
When they're tired. It's more difficult to have an erection. In the morning, get up, go to the bathroom, have a little breakfast, go back into bed, and you have the best erection ever.
I guess I got to start doing that.
All right, Dr. Ruth, I have a question as a married person. So my husband and I have a really hard time. We'll go to a hotel, just to hang out or whatever. He may get a room, and we stay down in a bar for a long time and hang out and talk. It's fun. No, it's fun. We can't sleep in the hotel beds. I don't know. Should we start bringing our own sheets or something like that? What's wrong?
If you can't sleep in a hotel bed, then do me a favor. Have your drink in the bar, have a good time, and then go home.
I hate to waste
your
it.
bed.
I know, I hate to waste it. You try to do the date thing and go away for a nice, it never works. I was trying to see if you knew what was wrong with the bed in the hotels.
No, there's something wrong with your head.
All right.
So you have to make believe, whatever it is, that you are, wherever you had a good time. Let's come here, I tell you something.
Oh, she telling a secret.
Wherever you have had a good orgasm, put that into your brain when you are with your husband. It doesn't matter where, in a haystack, like in my documentary. It doesn't matter where. Put that into your brain. And don't worry about the mattress or anything else. Put that experience when you once had a super good orgasm in your mind, and then it will happen.
Thank you, Dr.
Mike
good?
Muse.
Yes.
All right.
Mike Muse, you got a question over there?
Yeah. Doctor, I have a question for you regarding, sex is conversation is more commonplace now as we in this society that we're living in right now. What about when it comes to religion? What kind of feedback did you get from individuals who thought about the work that you were doing was, didn't go against religion and
So, I tell you what. Luckily for me and for all of you, that I'm very Jewish. In the Jewish tradition, sex has never been a sin. It always has been an obligation, something to be performed, a married couple. So that gives me the opportunity to always say a relationship is very important. And if you come from a religion where they said that sex is only for procreation, only for having children, leave that for Sunday mornings in church, go home the other days and have good sex.
All right. I want to ask you a question because I have a daughter. And
Don't tell her name.
I don't know, I would not do that, but I've told her name before. But we started talking about sex early in her life. And it surprised me, even with sex education courses in grade schools, how little they really teach the kids. At what age do you suggest parents talk to their kids about sex? And when I look at this Roller Coaster Grandma, this amazing story of Dr. Ruth, this graphic novel, I'm curious to how do you approach it? Do you approach it with graphics?
I tell you what, first of all, I applaud you because you are already an askable father. She has to know that she can ask you all of the questions. You will never say, where did you get that? You will never say you shouldn't know about it. You will answer. If you don't know the answer, you're going to tell her, I will find the answer in some books. Also, you have the power of the airwaves. You have to tell everybody who's a teacher that they have an obligation to be sex educators, but first they have to have like a seminar with parents to show the parents what they're going to tell their children. So no parent is going to be worried about religious issues, like what you were talking about. So they have to be approachable, which she is. And we don't have the luxury not to teach. Girls these days are having their period at an earlier and earlier age. We don't know yet why. Some people say it has to do with nutrition, but we don't know. Boys, mothers of boys, everybody, girls have to know what a nocturnal emission is, a wet dream. Otherwise, a mother could tell her son, what's the matter with you? How come you don't go to the bathroom? How come you pee in bed? That's not peeing, that's a nocturnal emission, which is a physiological happening. Yeah. So we have to make sure that everybody grows up sexually literate. So they all have to know how to communicate, how to talk to that next generation.
Dr. Ruth, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. Yes. Ask Dr. Ruth on social. And then also Ask Dr. Ruth. The documentary is in theaters May 3rd and on Hulu on June 1st. And get the new book, Roller Coaster Grandma. You can find that everywhere, right?
Yes, right.
The amazing story of Dr. Ruth.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Come back, okay?
I will.
All
thank
right.
you, all of you.
All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Dr. Ruth.